When the organizer of today invited me to be speaker, the same moment I said, yes, sure I can make it. I didn't think too much. Maybe the funny thing came to my mind that I will become more famous and people can find me easily. I know I used to give a medical talk, easy for me to practice. But this is the first time to be speaker for TEDx. I never know how to process. I never know the details. You asked it earlier. Yes, I'm one of the people who doesn't know before. And I never ask. I didn't expect I have to spend a lot of time and effort to prepare for that. And also, I wasn't sure that I can make it today. By right, I'm supposed to be overseas now. But I managed to change my flight for next week to keep my promise and to be with you today. And fortunately, everything went well. But when I go back and think about, I found that I was in a rush to say yes. I know that usually we do that. Usually we can say yes or no routinely, right? Subconsciously. But usually we do that for the routine thing we used to do. So I think I should ask about some details before yes or no. Sometimes we say yes, it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes even can put us in such a critical situations and can add some commitment to us as I have today. So this is Alexandria, my lovely hometown, from actually the second capital of Egypt, from where I came from. I'm here 14 years. And then 14 years ago, they offered me to come to work as a physician in Malaysia. Malaysia at the time, I know it from this, just made in Malaysia, when I buy any imported item. Malaysia at the time, which I know, from people who visit Malaysia and come back tell me, wow, you are going to Malaysia, you will enjoy in Kuala Lumpur, Genting. But I know that the place you are going to visit, sometimes, in fact, most of the time, is different from the place you are going to work. So sometimes I have to collect more information. I have to check about Asian culture, about Asian food, because I'm Middle East man. I have to think about my future career here. I have to think about my family. I have to collect more information, and I had the time for that. It was not that easy decision to come and to travel more than 12 hours directly, which I never traveled before. Most of the time, I go to Europe or Middle East, it's just 2-3 hours, and I feel bored. Nowadays, when I cross, I said, oh, I am over the India now, it's good for me. So, the situation done, I'm here, 14 years, I'm very happy, me and my family, to be here. Back to 1979, when I finished my secondary school, so you can know now roughly how old am I. When I got a high mark to go any college which I want, I know that I like mathematics, but I never get high mark. I usually believe in biology. So I said, let me to think either medical college or pharmacy. At the time, I have to think carefully because it's my future career. And I have to collect all the information needed. Not only that, there is a big difference between the things you like and the things you success. Not everything we like we can success, right? So I collected more information and I decided to be a doctor. Once I told my friends and my parents that I want to be a doctor, everyone jealous and said, oh, you want to be a doctor to make money. Doctors always make money. You know, I go to see the doctor, but usually spend with me 5 times, talk very fast, charge me a lot. No one knows that doctors always under stress. I think some of here are doctors. We can be even more than that, but you don't feel it, we feel it. So in fact, the doctor you see in the front of you in the clinic, smiling, cool down, easy and relaxed, discussing everything, you never know that they are the same doctors who are behind the door, behind the ICU and CCU, facing a lot of a challenging situation, in particular when we face unpredicted risk. Doctors usually they can predict the risk when we do for elective operation, and even we ask the patient about his acceptance and consent, that we explain to him everything. But sometimes out of prediction, we'll have some risk. And this risk actually has to be solved and prevented by fast and wise decision. This is the real challenge. How to think wise, how to think fast. In fact, doctors behind the door, you don't know it because you're always in the front of the door, unless you are a doctor. We are doing our best to save our patient. Our concern is patient safety. We feel guilty when we do anything shall affect the patient badly or maybe, unfortunately, lead to his death. We feel very guilty for that. And especially when we talk to the relative in the front of the door, and they put high input on us, high wishes. I expected that I hear a good news from you. And inside me, I know that the case is so-so. So this is another real challenge. Fine, you can take fast decision, but mostly it will be unwise. And this will affect the patient safety. You may take your time and think and go to ask and take and read again the literature and review everything and become late. And this is also will affect the patient. The patient might die. So the question here, how you are going to make a fast and safe decision, how you are make the balance between two. In fact, most of the time, we are using analytical and critical thinking. What is this approach? This approach is very simple. Before you think about any problem, we advise everyone, please calm down, control your emotion. I'm asking any one of you, have you faced any situation before, critical situation, and can you think about it when you are under stress? I doubt. If even you can think or take a decision, most of the time will not be the optimum decision. So I advise everyone to have this, and this is what we do. We have to cool down, be away from any emotional factor. This is to clear your mind and to let your mind starting again after it hanging. So if we have such a situation after we relax and cool down, and we have to find the problem. Most of the patients coming to us are complicated, let me to say, combo patient. Patient come 3 in 1. So we have to look for the problem. And we have to use analytical thinking that we need to break down this problem into single problems that easy for us to manage each part separately. And then we have to collect as information as we can. Definitely reliable information or related to information for that. And then we have to take the information critically. Mean that, take it seriously. Don't take the information from superficial part and just to fill the medical record. After we collect everything, and we need to keep it updated because the patient situation always is changeable. We have to take the advice. We usually call our consultants or senior people, or we try to read literatures And even we try to call back our previous experience if the doctor is senior enough. After you collect all this information, you have to gather it again, and you have to articulate it and to do a proper analysis and possibilities. And then you come out with options of solutions. And you put a plan for that. Plan A, plan B, and you start. I know it is more or less talk, but let me to give you a real example of our life. This patient coming to us, and this patient actually diabetic patient, who presented to us with infection. We know that diabetic patient, when they got any infection, the situation might not be that easy. Unfortunately, the patient developed kidney failure because this is in sequence of his infection. And worse that this patient developed heart attack. So I have now 3 problems all in one. Patient who had infection, patient heart failure, and patient kidney failure. So this is a complex problem. And when I was going in to ICU, I met the relative outside. Oh, how is our relatives? Good, huh? So I don't know. I said, okay, I just came in, and please wait, I will go there. So I'm under stress. How to manage such situation? The first is I must cool down, and I must clear my mind and take everything in relaxed way. Then I started to find what are the major problems of these patients. Infection, kidney failure, heart failure. We know that anyone get infection, you will not recover within 1 hour. You need at least a few hours for this antibiotic to work, if it works. So I already exclude this one at the moment, because this one will be solving this problem by giving proper antibiotic, but it will take time. And then we have 2 problems now, either to touch the kidney problem or to handle the heart problem. If I send the patient to do dialysis with this heart attack, the patient might die. If I wait for the heart to be stable and just wait for the kidney as well, the patient may die. So I'm in situation, you have to solve one first. Then what we did, we collect all the data needed from the lab. We collected all the information, and we started to follow the same approach, take each information critically, and we started to, again, gathering this information, called our consultant, take the advice, and we put some analysis, and we come up with the plan. Plan A, that we must wait for a while, cannot send the patient directly to hemodialysis. Hemodialysis still can wait 2 hours. Then what if the plan A doesn't work? I already put a plan B. So this is analytical way of thinking, and solution options and solution plan. Fortunately, this patient moved on in a good way, not in a bad way. And he recovered after 2 weeks. So I'm very happy. Really, the feeling when you save a patient will be very happy. So this is approach which we use in the medical part. But you will ask me, you are a doctor facing all this one and you make a lot of money. So what is the role of us? Don't forget, whatever I decide to do, I cannot do without your permission if you are waiting in the front of the door. You are the one who's supposed to give me the consent. So I hope that you will not face this situation. But are you ready to think fast and wise? If I come out of the door and tell you, I have A and B, you have to decide because I need your fast consent, which means you have to think fast and wise as well. I think not everyone expected that we face this situation, or I hope that not to face in medical. But I have one question, which is, do you think we can face this situation in normal life? Most of the time I feel that my clinical experience only for my work, because I know my family usually doesn't like to be treated by me. They don't have a trust of that. I think always a doctor like this, right? So I did believe that this clinical and the way of thinking might help me only in my career. But till few years ago, I faced one situation at the personal level. I have one son and one daughter. The daughter already graduated by a master's. The son already was in secondary school, and he is also a biology man as his father. But he doesn't like to be a doctor. He wanted to be dentist or pharmacist. Unfortunately, he did his best to get the high mark, but acceptance in Egypt is more than 95% to accept in pharmacy or in dentistry. I was confused, my mind froze, and I did apply him to come here to study biomedical course in Malaysia. Till last minute, no response. He only got accountant course in Egypt. The day he wanted to register, I received a call from Malaysia that my son accepted. I said, wow, good. But they said, under condition that he has to repeat some subjects, he has to pass certain language. If yes, welcome. If no, goodbye back to Egypt. So now I am in a situation which I have to cool down. He is my only son, and you know the feeling of father, not that far from the feeling of doctor-patient. So what I did, I called down, and then I told him, we have to think, we have to collect the information, we have to study the perspective of each one. I have to know your capability, which one you like. It is easy for us to go for accounting, just to go and register and get it. So it is easy today, but maybe in the future, not the good option. While we can take the challenge now and go to Malaysia and we try our luck. But it will be difficult now, but maybe easy in the future. So in fact, after we do the same approach, and this is how our career experience can help us in the personal level, we managed to come to Malaysia and everything went well. And this year, he is in the third year of the biomedical course. In fact, today, now, he is in the flight back to Egypt. That's why I postponed my flight to be here. So in conclusion, in my advice, what we need to do if you face any critical situation in medical or non-medical, number one, you have to control your emotion and calm down. And you have to find the problem and break it into small single one. Try to manage each problem separately, and then after that you can collect all the information needed, and then gathering all the information, articulate it, put options of the solutions, and put solution plan. But whatever the outcome, you should not regret, because if you win, you can lead, and if you lose, still you can guide. Thank you.